Hello, my friends. Welcome to my home studio in the beautiful Catskill Mountains in upstate New York. I am John Morell, as usual. And what am I going to do today? I'm going to do something called my favorite boozy fragrances. I mean, who doesn't like boozy fragrances, right? Hit the music.
John Morell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That man's got swag.
All right, so boozy fragrances, right? It could be rum, it could be cognac, it could be gin. Who knows? That's what we're going to talk about. I'll tell you what. Now, some of these I've reviewed. If I've reviewed the fragrance, I'll let you know. Check back into the video archives and you can watch the full review, because I'm not going to go through a review on each one, right? What I am going to do is tell you what's in the fragrance, okay? And why I love it and what I think is appropriate for, all right? So, first fragrance is, I'm not going to talk a lot about this one because I'm just going to get it out of the way, because there's no way it's not making the list, and everybody who watches the channel knows it's going to make the list. So let's get it out of the way. Dark Rebel by John Varvatos. One of my, if not my favorite, one of my favorite boozy fragrances. It has rum. Sugar on the top sweetens it up even more than the rum does. Leather, tobacco. There's nothing about this fragrance I don't like. I've said it a million times, so we'll get that out of the way. So again, Dark Rebel by John Varvatos. I love it. Boozy fragrance from the same house. John Varvatos, but it's the JV NJ collab, right? So John Varvatos, Nick Jonas, Crimson. This one I dig. This is also a rum fragrance. Okay, it's a rum fragrance, and it's sweet. It's very sweet. This is more of a lighter fragrance. So when I say that, it's not as dark as Dark Rebel, right? This is more, I would say, clubbing fragrance, but I think you could even get away with it. I think it's a year-round fragrance. I do think that, maybe not so much in the super hot weather, but this is a sweet fragrance. The rum, there's some coffee on the top, the apple, the bergamot, the cedar, middle notes, saffron, suede, amber, lavender, base notes, musk, incense, labdanum, patchouli, Madagascar, vetiver. This fragrance is so underrated. I actually don't understand why people don't talk more about this. I know it's an older fragrance. I did do a review on this, I believe. I did a giveaway when I first started the channel of this fragrance. It was way, way back. But what a killer fragrance. It really is. I don't know why more people don't talk about it. And it's not that bad as far as longevity. The performance is all right. I would say it projects well. I will say this projects for a good 2 hours, so when you walk into a room, people smell you. I would say about 4 hours in, it's a little closer to the skin. I would say this is about a 5-6 hour fragrance, but it's very, very good. And it's very boozy. What it reminds me of actually is in Phoenix, Arizona. We have an affiliate studio. My recording studio here in the Albany area, our voiceover studio, has an affiliate studio in Arizona, right in Phoenix. Right next to the recording studio in Phoenix is a Jamaican rum bar. And I have to tell you, it smells very much like that. I mean, again, obviously, the fragrance smells a little better, but you get the sweetness of that rum with the mixers. And that's kind of what this smells like. A sweet rum that maybe was mixed with something. It's a really great fragrance. I think it's a really great party fragrance, going out fragrance sort of thing. So, yeah, I dig it. Next boozy fragrance is one that people talk about quite a bit. I think this is fairly universally adored. I mean, there's always exceptions, right? But this is one I really like. It's Bentley for Men Intense. Okay, I haven't talked much about this on my channel, but everyone does, and I think for a good reason. It's getting to the time of the year to wear it. This is definitely a colder weather fragrance, and it's very boozy. I mean, very boozy. It's a rum, right? This is not, to me, it's not a sweet rum. Top notes are black pepper, bay leaf, bergamot. Middle notes, rum, woody notes, cinnamon, clary sage, African, geranium. Base notes, incense, leather, benzoin, patchouli, cedar. This is a more upscale fragrance. To me, this smells a bit more upscale. It smells like someone who drive a Bentley. To me, this is a bit of an older fragrance. I do think you probably want to be over 30 to wear it. I don't think this is for someone, again, do I have to always say the disclaimer, which is anyone can wear whatever they want? I just feel as though I can't imagine someone 25 years old wearing that fragrance. To me, this is a 30 and up fragrance. This is a fairly well dressed, whether it be a cardigan and a button down or, I just think it's a bit of an upscale fragrance. Very, very good, very boozy. So there it is. Again, Bentley from Intense. I know you have this one already. Who doesn't? You may have noticed. I'm kind of working up by price, right? The fragrances I just named are affordable, very affordable. They may even be considered cheapies. I know Crimson, for example, can be bought for about $30 to $40, right? And now Dark Rebel has been discontinued, which I think Crimson probably has too. But Dark Rebel is so adored for people who do like it. It has a fan base like me. It's a little harder to get, and it is creeping up in price. So you can still get it for about $40 to $50, but I get it now because it will not be, especially with the state of the John Varvatos brand, right? It has been taken over. And so we don't know what's going to happen with the fragrances. So my advice, if you want any of John Varvatos fragrances that I've talked about or anyone's talked about, this is the time to grab them because you don't know what's going to happen with the takeover of the brand. No idea. John Varvatos, the person, has nothing to do with his label at this point. So he just recently stepped down altogether. He has nothing to do with it. He's going on his own. That's something to keep in mind because these fragrances might skyrocket in price, So anyway, on to the next one. Next one is by Replica Jazz Club. I've talked a little bit about this on the channel, not too much, but yeah, this is exactly what it sounds like. Replica does such an amazing job of conjuring the image of what they say their fragrance is, and this is Jazz Club, and it does smell like that. This is also a rum, and there's a smokiness to this, like a real smokiness, like not, sometimes I don't love a smokiness necessarily, depending on how off-putting the smoke can be. They've done a good job of kind of riding down that middle, right? It's smoky, so it doesn't smell like a fresh tobacco note to me. It smells more smoky, but I do like it. So it does have rum. Top notes are pink pepper, neroli, lemon. So it does have a little bit of a bright top on it. Middle notes are rum, Java vetiver oil. I actually don't know what that is. So let's take a look together because I don't know what that is. It's vetivers from different parts of the world. No, I don't know. They're not being very clear what Java vetiver oil is. So your guess is as good as mine. Vanilla bean and styrax. This is a very good fragrance. It smells. They've combined these notes to smell like the inside of a jazz club. No doubt about it. So very good. And by the way, it's an EDT, but it's fairly long lasting. The performance on this is pretty dope. I would say this is a 6-7 hour fragrance, which for an EDT is nice. And it projects well. Projects well for a while, 2-3 hours, 3.5 hours. Really does. And even when it hits that 6 or 7 hour mark, it still is a skin scent. This is a long lasting fragrance. EDT, hard to believe, but it is. So Jazz Club by Replica. Fragrance is one of two from the same house I'm going to talk about. And it's, this one has gin. And I've done a full review on this. So if that's something you're interested in, just go ahead and go back into the video archive. And it's Brass and Soul by Zahar, okay, and in a collaboration with Stay Fresh Productions, Justin over there. And I love this fragrance. I really dig it. As you can see, I have worn quite a bit of it for someone who has 200 fragrances. And it's a gin, and to me, it's a party in a bottle. This is a music festival in a bottle. I said this, and so you can go back and check it out. This to me is an outside sort of festival. Now, can this be worn year round? I think it can. I'm going to test it out because I like it so much. It smells clean, but at the same time, but gin is kind of if it makes sense, gin is kind of a clean liquor, right? So depending what type, I guess, but it smells clean, but it really does have that boozy gin with a mixer sort of feel. And so, yeah, I like it. To me, it's a sunny day outside listening to jazz on the streets, maybe in New Orleans. So I said this before, but that's what I get out of this. I love it. Performs well on me. I love the opening to this, but the whole it does change a little bit in the dry down. But I adore it. Performance on it, I get a good 6-7 hours out of this one, and then I refresh it. So it's not super long lasting for an EDP, but 6-7 hours is fine for me. I'm down with that. I'll just carry a little vial with me or whatever. A little vial. That sounds like poison, but you know what I mean. So, all right. So there it is. Brass and Soul. Okay. Zahar from Stay Fresh Productions. Boozy fragrance that I absolutely love. I've talked about this one, did a full review on this. No need to get too far into it. Is the Siren, again, from Zahar. This one in conjunction with, or in collaboration with, Curly Scents. And it's cognac in this one. And it is the sexiest fragrance I own. I think it's the sexiest fragrance anyone can own currently. If you don't have this fragrance, and it's sold out, unfortunately, it is sold out. I don't know if they said this is a one-time run. I'm hoping, and everyone else I think is hoping, that is not true and that they break down and George does another run of these, because I didn't get a backup bottle when I kept saying I was going to get a backup bottle, but I didn't. But anyway, this is if you do like John Varvatos' Dark Rebel, this is a more modern take on it. I'm not saying John Varvatos' Dark Rebel isn't modern, because I do think it is, but I have had people say, it smells a little older. It smells like it would be on someone over 35, even up to some. I don't agree with that necessarily, but this is a super modern take on it. The cognac, the chocolate, it's the leather in this is just divine. It's a super sexy fragrance. So if you can get your hands on this, and if you have it, congrats. If you don't, I'm sorry. But hopefully, let's petition George. We petition you, George Zahar. Do another run off of these. All right, last fragrance I'm going to talk about as far as my favorite boozy fragrances in my collection. And I said I was working up on price, and I did. This is the most expensive of the bunch, by far, really. But to me, it's worth it. I absolutely love this. It is Creationi or Enigma, okay, but it's Creationi here in the States by Roja Parfums. Yeah. This is a cognac. So, it's a cognac. I just had a couple cognacs, a couple rums, and a gin, right? This is a cognac. So this is top notes of bergamot. I've done a review on this, actually, so I don't know. I don't want to go through all the notes, but it's a cognac, and there's, of course, tobacco, vanilla, cardamom, ginger. It's all the things I love. There's ambergris, which keeps... This is, by the way, this on me is a 12-hour fragrance. I've put this on during the day, or I should say midday or going into the evening. Went out, came home, went to bed, woke up with it still on me. That's how long-lasting this is. That's how this performs. Projection, great on this as well. Again, I've done a full review on this, I believe. So go back into the video archives. But this is an amazing fragrance, but it runs around $300 or so. On discounters, I think you can get it for like $230. I think the best is Venba. VenbaFragrance.com, I believe is what it is. Or is it Venba Fragrances? I'll let you know. But anyway, Venba. And I think you can grab it there for $230, $235, something like that. But retail is $300. But it's a wonderful fragrance. More upscale. To me, again, this is more of an upscale fragrance. This is one that you can wear it. Listen, again, I wear this just around the house. I love it so much. I think you can do that. But you put a suit on, this thing shines. It shines. Yeah, it does. Again, now, is it a young man's fragrance or a young lady's fragrance? Because I think it is unisex. It's so... It could be. I think maybe above 25, 25 and over is probably the place for this fragrance. But it's an amazing boozy fragrance. So there you go. Those are my boozy fragrances. I want to thank you all for watching. Again, I love all of you. You guys have really kept me going. It's hard. I have so much going on. I apologize for I do like a video a week at this point. I'm trying my best. I have the voiceover thing going on. I have webinars that I do on voiceovers, and then I have podcast I do. It's so impossible to keep up. The podcast is unrelated to fragrances, of course, but and I'm writing a book, finishing up a novel. So I am like Da Vinci. I'm not like Da Vinci. You know what I mean? I have so many different things going on, artistic things. So it's hard for me to keep up It's a weird thing to say I'm like Da Vinci. I'm not like Da Vinci, but you know what I mean? As far as Da Vinci doing so many different things, you know, maybe I should have picked someone else because that makes it sound like I'm smart. Not, you know what I mean? But there you go. I want to thank everybody very much. Again, we out.
John Morell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That man's got swag.